Have you ever felt like your energy is fading faster than it used to? Like one day, you were walking with ease, and then suddenly climbing a few stairs feels like a mountain. Maybe you've noticed little things, forgetting where you placed your glasses, waking up more tired than when you went to bed, or feeling like time is slipping through your fingers faster than ever. If you felt that way, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. What most people don't realize is that aging faster isn't always just natural. Sure, we all get older, wrinkles come, hair thins, and the body slows down a bit. But how fast you age, that part isn't written in stone. In fact, for most people over 70, there are invisible habits, silent killers really, that speed up the aging process without them even knowing it. These habits sneak in slowly, hidden behind routines and normal patterns, and they quietly rob us of our energy, strength, and even our independence. But here's the good news. Once you see them, you can stop them. And once you stop them, you can actually reverse a lot of the damage. Today, we're going to talk about 6 of these silent killers and how to remove them from your life before they steal more than they should. Let's start with one of the biggest culprits, something that seems harmless, but is actually working against your body every single day: sitting. It sounds innocent, doesn't it? After all, you've earned your rest. You've worked hard, raised families, lived through decades of change. You deserve to sit and relax. But there's a difference between rest and being still for too long. Sitting for extended periods, especially without movement, slows your circulation, weakens your muscles, and actually shortens your lifespan. Studies have even called it the new smoking because of how destructive it is for your heart, your joints, and your brain. Think about it. When you were younger, you probably moved around naturally, walking to work, cleaning the house, tending to the garden, going to the market. But as we age, that movement tends to shrink, and suddenly we find ourselves spending hours on the couch, in a recliner, or at the kitchen table. The body wasn't designed for that kind of stillness. It was designed for motion. And when you stop moving, your body begins to assume it's no longer needed. But here's the trick. You don't need to become a marathon runner or join a gym. Just stand up every 30 minutes. Stretch your arms. Walk around the house. March in place while brushing your teeth. These little motions send a message to your body that says, "I'm still here. I still need this strength." That simple shift can do wonders, not just for your muscles, but for your mood, your balance, and your circulation. Now, let's talk about something a little less obvious, but just as dangerous: isolation. At first, it doesn't feel like much. You may tell yourself you enjoy the peace. Maybe the kids have grown, friends have moved away, or you're simply tired of the noise of the world, so you stay home a little more. Skip the gatherings. Keep the phone on silent. A quiet day turns into a quiet week. And soon, the silence grows louder than ever. Loneliness is a slow poison. Not the kind that hits you in a day, but the kind that wears down your immune system, your spirit, and even your memory. Research shows that social isolation can increase the risk of cognitive decline, depression, heart disease, and even early death. And the hardest part? It often goes unnoticed because people assume it's just a normal part of getting older. But it doesn't have to be. Connection is medicine. A simple conversation, a shared meal, even a 5-minute phone call with someone you trust can light up areas of your brain that protect you from decline. And if you're thinking, "But I don't have anyone," let me gently challenge that. There are senior groups in every city. Churches, Libraries, community centers, they often have weekly meetups that are filled with people just like you, looking for a laugh, a story, and someone who listens. Don't let pride, fear, or habit keep you from connecting. It's not about having a huge social circle. It's about staying plugged into life. When you isolate, your light dims. But when you connect, you remind yourself and the world that you still matter, because you do. Now, before we move on, let me share something personal. A woman once told me that after her husband passed, she didn't talk to anyone for nearly 2 months. "What's the point?" she said. "No one's calling. I'm just in the way." But one day, she forced herself to walk into a local community center just for 5 minutes. She ended up meeting someone over a game of dominoes, and that turned into coffee, and eventually, a circle of new friends. She told me, "I didn't know how fast I was fading until I started to come back to life." That's the power of breaking the silence. And it brings us to another silent killer, a hidden one that works from the inside out. It's something most people ignore until it's too late, and by then, it's already done its damage. I'm talking about chronic stress. Not the loud, dramatic kind of stress, but the quiet, low-level pressure that never quite leaves your shoulders. Maybe it's financial worries. Maybe it's health concerns. Or maybe it's just that lingering sense of uncertainty that grows with age. That stress doesn't just stay in your mind. It leaks into your body. It raises your blood pressure, weakens your immune system, and accelerates aging on a cellular level. And the worst part? Many people over 70 have learned to just live with it. They tell themselves it's normal, that they're too old to change anything now. But that's not true. You can absolutely calm your nervous system and reduce that stress, even at 80, even at 90. It starts with how you breathe. Deep, slow breathing, just 5 minutes a day, can reduce cortisol, calm your mind, and even lower your risk of stroke. You can also journal your thoughts, take daily walks in nature, or try something as simple as sitting in silence with soft music. It's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about giving your body and mind space to reset. Because no matter your age, your body still responds to peace, and peace is something you can choose, even when life feels uncertain. Now that you've heard how movement, connection, and calm can protect you from the hidden dangers of aging, you might be wondering, if something as simple as movement, connection, and stress reduction can make such a big difference, what else could be silently speeding up the clock on your body? Let's talk about one of the most underestimated but deeply impactful factors in how we age: poor sleep. Now, I know what you might be thinking. At my age, I don't sleep like I used to. And that's true. As we grow older, our sleep patterns naturally change. You might wake up earlier. Maybe it takes longer to fall asleep. Or perhaps you find yourself waking up throughout the night. But here's the thing. Sleep isn't just rest. It's recovery. It's the time your brain files away memories, your cells repair themselves, and your immune system gets its tune-up. Without quality sleep, it's like running your body without ever changing the oil. Things break down faster, little by little. Your focus weakens, your balance gets shaky, your mood drops, and yet many people over 70 treat poor sleep as if it's just something they have to live with. But that's not the truth. You can improve your sleep, even now. Start by creating a sleep routine. Just like children need a bedtime ritual, so do we. No screens an hour before bed. Keep your room cool and dark. Try a cup of warm herbal tea, chamomile, or valerian root. Read a light book, listen to calming music, or take a warm bath. And if thoughts won't stop racing through your mind, try writing them down in a notebook beside your bed. You don't need 8 perfect hours every night, but you do need enough quality rest that your body has time to heal, recover, and protect itself. Better sleep isn't a luxury. It's your body's defense system. And you deserve to wake up feeling refreshed, not depleted. Now, let's take a deeper look at another silent force that accelerates aging, one that hides in plain sight on every plate, in every pantry, and in nearly every senior center I've ever visited. Processed sugar. Yes, sugar. That sweet treat that used to be a reward, a comfort, or maybe just a normal part of your morning coffee, has now become a quiet saboteur of your health. And here's why. After 70, your body doesn't process sugar the same way it used to. Your insulin response weakens, your metabolism slows, and when that sugar lingers in your system too long, it does more than just raise your blood sugar. It inflames your joints, clouds your thinking, increases your belly fat, and ages your skin and organs from the inside out. Most people assume sugar's only issue is weight gain or diabetes, but it goes deeper. It accelerates what scientists call glycation, which damages cells and speeds up aging. It also feeds inflammation, which is behind most of the chronic pain and stiffness older adults experience. But here's the thing. Cutting sugar doesn't mean cutting joy. You can still enjoy sweetness, just in ways that support your body, not sabotage it. Fresh fruit, a drizzle of honey, a square of dark chocolate, and more importantly, read your labels. Sugar hides behind names like glucose, corn syrup, fructose, and maltodextrin. Swap sugary cereals for oats with cinnamon. Trade soda for sparkling water with lemon. Little changes make a big impact, especially over time. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be aware. Because once you see what sugar is really doing, you won't crave it, you'll respect your body enough to choose better. And speaking of respect, let's talk about one of the most overlooked silent killers of all. One that doesn't live in your food, your habits, or your routine, but in your mind. I'm talking about resignation, that quiet voice that says, "It's too late for me." The belief that change is for younger people, that strength, clarity, and vibrance belong to the past, not the future. That voice, that belief, it does more damage than poor sleep or sugar ever could. Because the moment you believe you're too old to improve is the moment you stop trying. And the moment you stop trying is when you start slipping. I've met men and women in their 80s who began exercising for the first time and gained more balance and energy than they'd had in decades. I've met women in their 70s who started painting, joined dance classes, and fell in love with life again. I once spoke with a man, he was 91, who told me he finally learned how to cook after his wife passed. "Why not?" he said with a grin. "I've got time." You do have time. And more importantly, you have the ability. Aging isn't about sitting still and waiting. It's about choosing every day to honor the life you still have. Whether that's eating better, walking more, calling an old friend, or simply choosing to believe that something good can still happen. That belief alone, believing that improvement is still possible, keeps your brain engaged, your cells active, and your spirit alive. Resignation is a silent killer, but hope is the silent healer. So, if any part of you has felt like slowing down is the only option, let this be your reminder. You are still here. You are still capable. And you are not too late. In fact, you may just be right on time. Because as long as you're breathing, there's still time to change your story. And that brings us to the sixth and final silent killer. The one that creeps in so slowly, most people don't even see it coming. It doesn't show up in blood tests. It doesn't cause pain, but it eats away at your joy, your energy, and your purpose. It's called stagnation. You see, the human spirit was never meant to retire from life. Sure, we retire from jobs, responsibilities, the busy pace of raising kids or building careers. But somewhere along the way, many people mistake that for retiring from growth. And that's where the real danger begins. When you stop learning, when you stop challenging yourself, when you stop discovering new things or setting small goals, your mind starts to fade. Not because it's broken, but because it's bored. Just like a muscle, the brain needs stimulation to stay sharp. Curiosity is its fuel. Purpose is its oxygen. Stagnation doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you're doing the same thing over and over without joy, without challenge, without excitement. It's easy to fall into a loop. Wake up, sit, eat, sleep, repeat. And when that pattern goes unchecked for too long, it chips away at the light inside you. But the solution isn't drastic. You don't need to enroll in college or travel the world unless you want to. Sometimes it's as simple as learning a new recipe, taking a different walking route, picking up a book on a topic you've never explored, learning to use a new app, even keeping a small notebook where you write down one thing you learned each day. These things may seem small, but they wake your mind up. They whisper, "There's still more." And that whisper becomes a spark. That spark becomes energy. And energy, that's the secret to staying young. Because youth isn't just about smooth skin or strong legs. It's about engagement. It's about being plugged into your own life. Curious, awake, and invested. I once met a woman named Claire who, at 87, began painting. She had never touched a brush in her life. Her first painting looked like a toddler's doodle, she said with a laugh. But she kept at it. 2 years later, she was exhibiting at a local art fair. "It's not about the art," she told me. "It's about feeling alive again." That's the spirit I hope this message ignites in you. You see, aging faster isn't a destiny. It's a direction. And just like a car can change course with a small turn of the wheel, so can you. These 6 silent killers, sitting too long, isolation, chronic stress, poor sleep, sugar overload, and stagnation, they don't make a loud entrance. They slip in quietly. But once you recognize them, you can push them out just as quietly with better choices, one small step at a time. So today, maybe your step is standing up every hour. Maybe it's calling an old friend. Maybe it's swapping out dessert for fruit. Maybe it's going to bed 30 minutes earlier, or maybe, just maybe, it's deciding that your best days aren't behind you. They're just beginning. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to fix everything overnight. You just need to care enough to begin. Because the truth is, you are not aging too fast. You are reacting to habits, patterns, and beliefs that no longer serve you. And now you have the power to change them. You have wisdom on your side, decades of experience, strength built from survival. You've faced storms and seen generations rise. So believe me when I say this, your age is not a weakness. It's your advantage. Most people in their 20s don't have half your insight. They're still searching for meaning. You already know what matters. That gives you something powerful, clarity. And clarity, when combined with intention, becomes unstoppable. So here's what I invite you to do right now. Take a deep breath, roll your shoulders back, and say this out loud, if you're able. I am not done yet. Because you're not. Your story is still being written. And the next chapter, that's entirely up to you. Whether you're 70, 80, or 90, you can still wake up tomorrow with purpose. You can still surprise yourself. You can still smile at something new, learn something useful, and feel your body come back to life, slowly, gently, and joyfully. And if this video has reminded you of even one thing you can shift, one silent killer you can remove, then take that as your sign to act, not for anyone else, but for you. Because you are worth the effort, you are worth the care, you are worth the energy it takes to feel good again. And trust me, there is joy on the other side of that effort. So if this message spoke to you today, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what changes you're going to try. Your story might just inspire someone else to keep going. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more practical tips, motivational guidance, and heartfelt support, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Here's to stronger bodies, sharper minds, and happier days. No matter your age, take care of yourself, stay curious, and remember, you're still here, and that means something beautiful is still possible. Let's live it together.